a seminar on future scope of industrial psychology in West Bengal.
Here, we are going to explore the fascinating interactions of human behavior, organizational dynamics, and the corporate world. In this rapidly evolving landscape of industrial psychology, the field become more critical than ever.
This seminar is going to be a platform for the exchange of knowledge, ideas, and experiences that contribute to the growth of individual and organizations alike. Throughout the course of our seminar, we are going to navigate different topics where we are going to speak about the basic introduction to the discipline, how is it difficult from human resource, and how the field, that is industrial psychology, could be used for the application to the various fields of the organization.
Now, let's welcome our professor, Professor Dr. Rajshikaraj. Dr. Raj is a professor in the transdisciplinary research and psychology at Sister Nivedita University, mentoring the students of organizational behavior and management psychology field. Sir, please come up on stage.
Good afternoon. I'm just going to create a very short introduction, where we got this idea and where we want to take this forward. And I'm also going to invite our dignitaries. But before that, I really want to pay my respect and my thanks to all my students, to all the students of MSc, rehab, clinical, industrial, all of them coming together to make this a success. And also all the students who come from different universities. It made us feel that, it was worth doing, when we saw all this interest. So, I am going to break my discussion in Bengali and English because some of it I incidentally feels could be more appropriate in Bengali. Having said that, I must warn you, some of the things I'll say, my students have always told me not to use these terms when I'm speaking in public. So to start off, ami mate khater manush, which basically means my research itself is very field-oriented. ভদ্রলোকের মধ্যে আমার থাকার chances কম, but when I came back after 15 odd years, well, আমার masters when I finished in HRD Industrial Psychology, Rajshikaraj Science College 1923 12 আগে তখন হয়তো ডাইনোসরস চলতো মনে হচ্ছে আমাদের ওইসব দিকে, so either way সেই সময়ের পরে interestingly enough we didn't actually see a lot of jobs or opportunities for industrial psychologists at that point. Coming back to industrial psychology, eto bochor bade ami deshe firechi, I've come back to the subject, and now when I look at it, I'm still baffled je thinking je eta aro koto boro kora jay. There's so much place for us to move forward to. That is the genesis of this project. এই আইডিয়াটা আমাকে দিয়েছিল আমাদের সৃজা যে স্যার ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সাইকোলজিতে we really need a seminar where we invite everyone and have this discussion. And my faculties who were always telling me yes, we do need these and let's take this forward. So having said that, on that note, let me call up on the stage. If you can switch on these lights, please. Yeah, switch everything on. All right. First, I would like to invite Dr. Ruprekha Bakshi Maithi. Ma'am, if you take the stage, please. Ma'am is an assistant professor at Amity University. She has experience of 10 years in the field of education, holds a PhD in management, HR, from University of Engineering, Kolkata, Engineering and Management, Kolkata. Ma'am has various national and international publications and book chapters, and I met her initially when we were doing our students' practicals. And yeah, we had really interesting discussion, and from that then onwards, we were thinking maybe there's place for us to collaborate. Or beyond that, my dear friend Gaurango Mitro, Dr. Gaurango Mitro. So Gaurango and I studied at Rajshikaraj Science College. He is by far 100 times smarter than me. And incidentally, Amadesh Shamai Gaurango, I don't know if you remember, there was a Mr. and Miss Science College. Gaurango was Mr. Science College of our batch, so clap.
It's a long back.
Long back again.
I forgot.
Yeah, I know you don't remember because the dinosaurs showed it like a set. All right. So yeah, Gaurang is assistant professor at Nyoto University. Dr. Mitra has extensive experience of teaching research, PhD in applied psychology, has many national and international publications, and so on and so forth. All right, beyond that, I would love to, actually, by the way, I'm dyslexic. I forget people's name. It's nothing personal. So আমার সবার কিন্তু নাম দেখে দেখে বলতে হয়. So I really deeply apologize for that. Miss Nilanjana Bhattacharya, please. So when I was exploring, all the practicing psychologists who are not faculty at this point, Nilanjana's name came up. We connected, on a social media, and we started speaking. And I thought, she'd be, a really ideal person to come and speak here. So Ms. Bhattacharya, she has a master's in applied psychology from Amity, and currently she's currently practicing psychologist, showcasing her dedication to the field and commitment in making many positive impacts. After that, our dear sir, Professor Devraj Dotto. We had a lot of interactions. As psychologists, many of our faculty collaborate with the MBA and BBA department, and we work with them and we help the students develop together. So Professor Dotto, the HOD of Management at Sustainability University, the Associate Dean of Academics at Globson Business School, he did his PhD in cross-cultural consumer behavior marketing from West Bengal University of Technology. After that, Mr. Indrajit Ghosh. Indrajit is instantly also is really my childhood friend. We studied in our school at the same time, but Indrajit has proliferated in so many different dimensions. He's an amazing photographer, but as a professional, he's a specialist in marketing and sales. He's worked in international institutional sales and has handled the relating service portfolio of various organizations, including Asian Paints, Berger, and so on and so forth. He's an expert in marketing, and I think he'll have a lot of value addition to our discussion. After that, Mr. Sujoy Ganguly. Mr. Ganguly is a senior solution architect and implement specialist at Cognizant. He's pursued BTech in information technology from College of Engineering and Management, has more than 15 years of experience. Now, I have a very interesting connection with Sujoy. Sujoy and I, we are both Kyozanims. We are both black belts of Hapkido, and under the tutelage of Torun Roy Chudhary, who has taught us so much thing in our life. And we take these experiences as we go, not only in our work, in our life, and it's just in our blood. And so I have a deep connection with Sujoy. Even if we meet after years, we can always connect that way. So thank you for being here. Mr. Tomogno Goswami was supposed to be here virtually today, but unfortunately just now we got the information that one of his friends had an accident. So even virtually he won't be able to be present here, but he really gave us his heartfelt congratulations and hope for the betterment of this program, and hopes to join us in near future. Finally, I would love to invite, it is my pleasure to invite Ms. Shauni Dotto. Shauni is really special because Shauni is just passed out, she's just passed out from our department in MSc in industrial psychology. Shawnee today plays a very special role. She's you. She's all the students here. She's the voice of the students. And I think it was important for us to have academics, professionals, at the same time the student for whom we're doing all of this. That's why Shawnee is here, so please give her a big hand. And that's that for me. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
So now we are going to felicitate our esteemed panelists. I would request Sudeshna ma'am to do the honors.
Koshani. Okay. Now, Sudeshna ma'am is going to felicitate Dr. Ruprekha Bokshi Maiti. Next up, we have Dr. Gourango Mitro.
Clap louder, please. We can't hear your claps. Thank you. Oh, I would also like to add something here. That, you know, these chocolates that we're giving is actually the work of one of our students, Miss Julia. So she had made these chocolates, you know, handmade chocolates for, you know, all the guests. So, you know, I really appreciate that.
Next up, I would like to call Ms. Nilanjana Bhattacharya.
Next, we have Mr. Indrajit Ghosh.
No, sir, sir. No, no. Oh, what's that?
Felicitation is.
Our next guest is Mr. Shujoy Ganguly. Last but not the least, Ms. Shawnee Datta.
Also, we would like to call up on stage Debraj sir for the handmade chocolates.
Thank you.
And our very own Raj sir.
I am chocolate.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sudeshna ma'am. Now you're going to start.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, fine. One. Now let us start with the discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. Today, I will welcome all of you to this seminar. It is my pleasure to talk in front of you. Thank you to our Professor Rajshikaraj to give me this opportunity to speak in front of you. So today, I'm here to represent the students of MSc Applied Psychology with specialization in organizational behavior and management psychology. I have recently passed out, so to represent all of you, I would like to share a small experience about my master's journey. So first of all, আমি মাস্টার্সে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সাইকোলজি নিয়ে যখন পড়া শুরু করি তখন আমাকে প্রথম যখন স্যার জিজ্ঞেস করেন যে ওয়াই ডু ইউ চুজ দিস ফিল্ড, সো আমি বলেছিলাম যে স্যার আমি কিছু সেরকমভাবে তো জানি না ব্যাপারটা কী আছে না আছে, আমি খুব ব্রিফ একটা ইন্ট্রোডাকশন জাস্ট যেটুকু আমাদের গ্র্যাজুয়েশনে করানো হয়েছে সেটুকু জানি। তো স্যার বললো আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, এরপরে কি প্ল্যান আছে। যখন আমার যা প্ল্যান ছিল তখন সেই সময় যেটা ভেবেছিলাম যে ঠিক আছে আমি এইটা নিয়ে এই করবো, তো স্যার আমাকে বললেন আচ্ছা MBA করতে হবে কিন্তু লাস্টে। তো আমি বললাম যে স্যার সেটা পরে ভাববো, এখন তো আগে পড়া স্টার্ট করলাম। আমাদের সুদেশনা ম্যাম ছিলেন, শ্রাবস্তি ম্যাম ছিলেন, অ্যান্ড স্যার আমাদের খুব 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 সাপোর্ট করেছেন থ্রু আউট আওয়ার কোর্স। বিফোর দ্যাট উই হ্যাভ our HOD, Anita ma'am. She also helped us a lot to complete our study. Now come back to the point. Today, the objectives of the seminar are to discuss the current state of industrial organizational psychology in West Bengal. Number 2, to discuss what are the challenges for its proliferation and how to mitigate them. Number 3, to discuss how industrial organizational psychology can be integrated in various industry sectors. Number 4, to propose formation of the body Bengal Industrial Psychological Association for the proliferation of the procession and networking. So, as the student representative today, I would like to ask some queries to the guests and to also the others who are present here. So let's come to the questions first. What are the obstacles that are stopping the prevalence of industrial and organizational psychologists in corporate office in India, especially in West Bengal? This is the first question come out in our mind as a student of psychology, especially in the field of organization psychology. The next is, what is the scope of industrial organizational psychology in a city like Kolkata, and are corporates enough aware about how HRM and organizational or industrial psychology is different? And in the process of recruitment especially. Number 3, what are the difference between the scope of MBA and the industrial psychologist in the specialization field? Next, what are the emerging areas of research and innovation in industrial psychology that hold promises for the future? This is the personal question for me also. Achha. Next, suitable further studies to get job in organizational field after completing masters with industrial psychology. This is also a add-up question for my side because I am facing a lots of challenge after completing my masters. So these are the questions which most of the students which I am representing want to know from you guys. Thank you.
The only thing I would add here is Shawnee is not just representing the masters of SNU. She's representing all the students, masters, bachelors, of all the universities. All right? So she's here for all of you. All right, she's our guiding light. The interface. There you go. All right, next please, who's starting off? Rupreka ma'am. Yeah.
A very good afternoon to everyone and my panel members, my students over here, or other guests from all over who have come from other colleges also. So a very good afternoon, and before I start, I want to first thank Professor Aij for making this initiative, because this was really required. Because you know, when we are studying or when we are thinking of taking up industrial psychology, as Shawnee has very well mentioned, that when we don't have anything else to do, maybe when we are not very clinical person, neither we are very social of taking up any other stream, then let's not try and do industrial. So that's a very common thing which I face, I see every day, and also what Shawnee has correctly said. Now, before I start, I would like to tell one thing. I have read in, I don't remember the exact book where I have read, but one very important quotation was given most probably by Steve Jobs, where he said that, please, I'm sorry if I'm not saying the correct line as given by him, but he said that an organization cannot be successful, or a business cannot be successful with only one person. It's always a team. It's the team effort of the employer as well as for the employees equally. And the bridge between the employer and the employee is the organizational or the industrial psychology. Because he or she, whoever it is the person who is always there to clarify both from the side, from the industrial psychology, from the employee's end, as well as from the employer's end. And another very important thing, that we all have a myth that maybe we are all industrial psychology, but we are not only industrial psychologists, we are industrial organizational psychologists. Why I am mentioning this? Because I have a common experience that when I was there in a school as a school counselor for around 7 years. So there, when I got the job, many of my friends asked that, how can you get a job over there when you are an industrial psychologist? And I said that, no, I am not only an industrial psychologist, I am an industrial organizational psychologist. And by thinking about the organizational psychologist, organization can be any organization. It can be the corporate sector, definitely, but at the same time, it can be any organization. It can be a college, it can be a school, where we have the employees as well as the employer. There has to be this, these are the two important things which has to be there, the employer and the employees. Now, definitely industrial psychologists have a scope much more in the corporate sector, as I'm other two members of my panel are the best people to speak on this. But just a broader idea, I think that we have other scopes as well. And because industrial psychology is not a very recent field. It had started long time back, in almost around in the 1900s and during the World War I. So at that time, the very beginning of industrial psychology started with the recruitment and the selection process. So as Shawnee has mentioned very correctly, that one of the major part of industrial psychology is for the recruitment part. Now, sometimes it happens that I have seen, although we know that in Kolkata, not only in IO psychology field, we have limited resources for every field, wherever we go. But still, it often happens that wherever you are going, sometimes it happens that maybe you have been getting an opportunity, not for the part-time, full-time job of an industrial psychology, maybe a part-time job during the recruitment process. Because there are two processes which generally is a very important part of the organization, that is during the recruitment selection as well as during the appraisal time. Because appraisal times are very essential, because an industrial psychology can only tell us that which appraisal process is correct for the employees to judge. Is it the only the paper questionnaires, or is it the 360 degree? Is it something else? So because he is the person who is knowing the employees the most, and he is the person who is going to suggest that which form of appraisal method is correct. So that is a very important, I'm going specifically to the job part because all of us are mainly focusing on after IO, what am I supposed to do? What is the most important part over there? So that is very essential over there. Then another very booming field nowadays we have that after the COVID, every organization, may it big, may it small, whatever it might be, the organizations are going through lots of emotional turmoil, economical turmoil, and there's something called crisis management is very much in. These organizational industrial psychologists, we mainly focus how to remove this crisis. Maybe nowadays you'll find during the COVID, after the COVID, many people have shifted their jobs. There can be many reasons. One of it might be personal. Also, some organizational reasons can also be there. So here are the places where we can intervene and actually find out what the problem lies. Where is the problem the employee is facing? Another important part, as we were just discussing before this panel session started, regarding the training program, which is very essential. That whatever job you are doing, it's very essential that the training is important. You got the job, but maybe majority of the times it happens that whatever we are studying, maybe at the initial stage, we are not getting that particular job. That happened to every one of us, I think, who are here, and that's a very common phenomenon. So what type of training should be required? That is very essential. The tenure of the training is also essential. How long the person will require to train? Is it 1 month? Is it 1 week? Is it 6 months? So that tenure is going to be fixed up by the IO psychologist. Another part I was just reading last time that, many people will be changing jobs. But during their exit interviews, I think you have heard about the exit interviews. All my students, I think you have heard. Yes, so exit interviews are very essential for the growth of the organization. That from there, what are the grievances the people are having? That is the reason that they are leaving the organization. That should be taken into account. And one of the major role of IO psychologists lies there, because they are the one who can actually understand the psychology of the employee who is leaving. At the same time, they also are worried about the well-being of the employee. So that such certain unfortunate conditions doesn't come once again in the organization. That needs to be taken care by the industrial organizational psychologist. Apart from that, I feel, what other questions? I think that's where we can start from, I think. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. First, I would like to thank Sister Nivedita University and my batchmate, ex-batchmate Rajshikaraj, to take such an initiative for that this kind of pertinent topic, to discuss the pertinent topic. Since my post-graduation days, I am searching for that answer. Why IO psychology is not so popular? But till more than 1 decade spent, I am still searching. But last night, I am when I just prepared myself, ki bolbo okhane giye. Actually, আমি তো আনসারই খুঁজে পাইনি। So first of all, আমি দেখলাম, আমি যখন চোখ বুঝি, when I close my eyes, আমি যখন ভাবি যে সাইকোলজিস্ট, এমনি সাইকোলজিস্ট, ক্লিনিক্যাল সাইকোলজিস্ট নয়, আইও সাইকোলজিস্ট নয়, সাইকোলজিস্ট, যেটা আমার মাথায় আসে একটা অ্যাপ্রন পরা ছবি, ঠিক আমার মতো, যেরকম আমি বসে আছি এখন উত্তরীয় পরে, ঠিক অ্যাপ্রন পরা একটা ছবি মাথায় আসে। So I am predominantly focused on the clinical psychologist. So we are not able to create a separate identity for IO psychology. So this is the first major gap of industrial and organizational psychology. And second thing, psychology is now popular topic of the web series and cinema. But every time you focus on the psychological thriller, psychological topic, every time they discuss on the clinical aspect. No such industrial and organizational psychology. I search Google, the industrial and organizational psychology niye jodi kono cinema hoy, but there is no such review, there is no such any type of mention in the industrial and organizational psychology in the cinema or web series. Again, the entertainment industry is predominantly focused on clinical psychology or counseling psychology. So again, we are lacking this area. Third, when I just ask randomly to our student, ki porte chao? Keno porte issue? Why you come for the psychology? At the very beginning, tara সব সময় বলে যে আমি কাউন্সেলিং করবো বা ডাক্তারিতে চান্স না পেয়ে আমি পড়তে এসেছি। সো এগেন আমাদের মধ্যে এই অ্যাওয়ারনেসটা নেই, উই আর ল্যাকিং দ্যাট পার্টিকুলার অ্যাওয়ারনেস দ্যাট যে আইও সাইকোলজি ক্যান বি আ ভেরি গুড প্রফেশনাল কেরিয়ার, ক্যান বি, এই অ্যাওয়ারনেসটা আমাদের নেই। ফোর্থ, সিগমন্ড ফ্রয়েডের নাম যতজন জানি আমরা, ব্লুম অ্যান্ড নেলারের নাম কি জানি ততজন? জানি না। I ask to audience, student, যে সিগমন্ড ফ্রয়েড সবাই বলবে আমি নাম জানি, ব্লুম অ্যান্ড নেলার জানি না।
Let's
So,
put that to the test. How many of you know Sigmund Freud? All right.
let's see. And Boom and Leader, we don't. Boom, just one. And she is my colleague also. She was my colleague. so unfortunately, no student is known about the industrial name of the industrial psychologist. So how can we popularize that particular branch? So এই চারটে জিনিস আমি নিজে যখন ঘুমোতে যাচ্ছিলাম নিজেই আমি অবাক হয়ে গেলাম যে এই জিনিসগুলো আমি 17 বছর ধরে সার্চ করছি, 17-18 বছর ধরে, when I was my student life, spending my student life. And still 2023 যখন কোনো কাউকে অ্যাডভাইস করি, ইফ আই অ্যাডভাইস সাম স্টুডেন্ট যে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল অ্যান্ড অর্গানাইজেশনাল ক্যান বি আ ভেরি গুড অপশন ফর ইয়োর কেরিয়ার, সেটা আমার নিজের কানে কীরকম একটা লাগে যে আই অ্যাম নট সো কনফিডেন্ট যে এটা ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল অ্যান্ড অর্গানাইজেশন সাইকোলজি ক্যান বি আ গুড অপশন। সো সেই জন্য আমাদের ক্ষেত্রে কী করতে হবে এটা আমি জানি না। সো দিস আনসার ক্যান বি ডান বাই দ্য other two panelists from marketing experts or IT experts. They can understand যে কোথায় আমরা ল্যাক করছি, বাট এই রিজনসগুলো কিন্তু ভীষণ ইম্পর্টেন্ট। আমি যেটা আইডেন্টিফাই করার চেষ্টা করছি লাস্ট এতগুলো বছর ধরে, তো আমি নিজেই আস্তে আস্তে ভাবছিলাম যে আইও সাইকোলজিতে আমরা যখন নিজেরা সায়েন্স কলেজে পড়তাম, দ্যাট ওয়াজ দ্য লং ব্যাক, তো তখন আইও সাইকোলজি সিরিয়াসলি আইও সাইকোলজি 1, 2, 3, 4 এর ম্যাক্সিমাম 5 জন পড়তো। বাট নাও আইও সাইকোলজি পড়ে হচ্ছে প্রায় 100 to 125 per year in West Bengal. But still, we are not at all able to popularize that particular psychology topic, psychology branch, like clinical psychology or counseling psychology. So this is the most unfortunate thing. This is the most, কি বলবো, unfortunate বলবো না proper resources অভাব বলবো, lack of resource বলবো, I don't know. But these four, if we concentrate on these four or others, any other factors discussed by other panelists, so এই factorsগুলোতে যদি আমরা focus করি, we can dominate clinical psychology one day, definitely, surely. Thank you.
I just want to add one thing, like Goranga is saying. So, Amar Bache, I stood fourth in the university, in my master's second year. Amar HRD specialization chilo, Gorango was in industrial and I had HRD, and I stood fourth. তার মধ্যে 4 জন স্টুডেন্ট ছিল। So, but I still stood fourth. But one thing I need to ask, particularly, psychologists, my psychologist friends, even, all the other faculty who are sitting there, why in Bengal, I don't know the rest of India, but why in Bengal psychology is primarily a female-oriented, not female-oriented, let's say the students are primarily women. There's nothing wrong with it, but why? I think there is some fundamental lesson to be learned from that. And that we should understand, particularly in industrial organization psychology. I think there is something that we're missing there. I have asked many senior professors, no one has given me a proper answer. People say a lot of fancy, statistics, this and that. No one has given me a proper answer. So it is certainly something. Even today, how many male psychology students do we have? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 7, 8, right? How many females do we have? And even Gorang, from our time, we're seeing that, right?
From my batch, we are 7.
No, we were exceptional.
We are exceptional.
Because there was so many men like before
In the
or
applied
even
psychology
after us.
department and pure psychology department,
Because
only
you-
one student, male candidate was admitted. One from pure, one from applied. So in 2006 batch, that was exceptional, and this was the relief from our teachers also.
Yeah, but after that it again got back the same thing.
After that it was another decline,
So-
1 or 2.
So I think, and also I need to, okay, who among us is going to proudly say there is no more sexism in the workplace? That men and women are treated equally in the workplace? Can we say that? Will all, reality? Can we be pragmatic? If that is not the case, then can we say maybe, because the perception of the females who are representing, psychology, but, like industrial psychology, is skewed because they think, it's women. Maybe our training is wrong. Maybe the women are trained properly, so they can, make further points that why it makes sense to employ them. Maybe it's something wrong with our teachers. Again, like you, I don't have the answers to these, but I'm glad we're speaking about it. Yes, sir, please.
May I add
Absolutely.
one
Yes,
thing?
sir, please.
It's a very interesting thing that you have brought. This is my 20th year as management teacher. And I have taught, I'm from marketing domain, but first year I used to take all the classes. And in 20 years I have taught at least, say, 3,500 students. Usually, the thing is around 60% students take marketing, 30% students take finance, and 10% students take HR. Usually, there's a pattern. That means I have taught around 350 students who have taken HR. I can recall only 2 students who have taken HR who were male students. I started my career in 2004. Before that, I was in corporate, I was in sales. So 2004 to 2023, in different universities, different institutes, different ages. Sir was talking about dinosaur, maybe I was pre-dinosaur age, because my post-graduation was in 1999. And I was in engineering, and engineering, it was just opposite. There was not a single girl student in the entire JU in my campus. I was from second campus. And entire campus, there was no girl student in our batch, and it was very disheartening for us. We had to go to the main campus to, you understand, to follow things. So it was a very boring life at Salt Lake campus. And then when I came to academics, and I found out there was a perception, I'm coming to your point, sales is a boy's job, and HR is a girl's job. Has been a conditioning, and I find out the same kind of resonance in that psychology domain as well. And I have asked this question. Why? Because the 2 boys I have talked about who have taken HR long back, 12 years back, now they are in a very good position in IT industry. And they were kind of ridiculed by their friends, male friends as well as female friends, that why you are taking this. And when the girls were taking marketing sales, their parents were complaining because they were thinking that I was influencing them. And even I had this kind of interaction from the parents that, sir, will you take care of her? Because once she gets married, how she is going to do that? So I had to fight with the parents sometimes. No, your daughter has real potential to become a sales or marketing person. And unfortunately, sometimes they used to take marketing and then they have been shifted to HR. So it's not only in psychology, it is also in marketing or HR, in management domain. There is a very curious gender stereotyping, I must say. I still don't know why. Because when I look at Indra Numi, fine. When I look at Infosys, my first company is Infosys, when I've graduated from JU, head of HR was a male. Okay, at least my time. And there are some very unique gender stereotyping of various professions. So I think this is another very unique aspect. I think all of us should address this, that why it is happening. Is it a social construct? Or I don't know. So I'm not the right person, but I think my data probably that's matching with your data. So I thought I should raise this. Thank you.
Ma'am, it's now Nilanjana ma'am, right?
Yeah. Am I audible? Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys my experience of how my professional journey has been, because I'm relatively very new to the field. I graduated last year, so I think a lot of you would be able to relate with me, and a lot of you would also be able to explore certain things through my narratives. So I started out as a trainee organizational psychologist in this firm called Friend Square, which is India's first IO psychology firm. So luckily I got that job. I did my traineeship for like 3 months, and after that, because the performance was good enough, I got promoted to the position of organizational psychologist. Now this all sounds very nice and dreamy and idealistic, but that doesn't mean I did not have sleepless nights when I was in my final year of masters. Still, trying to stick to, industrial psychology, because I know for a fact a lot of us, we come into the field thinking, this would be my specialization. I would get into clinical, I would get into counseling, I would get into industrial. But a lot of times after looking at the scopes, at the reality, at the ground reality of things, a lot of us are forced to, have the transition. As Rekha ma'am was also, also saying. But I somehow, stuck with it with some determination, I'll figure out something. If not industrial, then something in HR domain. Something like, talent acquisition maybe, if not talent acquisition, maybe something that has to do with, organizational research, something I'll figure out. But luckily, in my final year, I got this opportunity just after my final exams. And since then, the experience has been, bittersweet. Like there has been certain rejections because, as I said, I'm working for a firm which is India's first IO psychology firm. So for us to get clients, that's like a challenge in itself, to make clients understand what is the need of having, IO psychologist on board. And mind you, we are working at a capacity of consultancy, right? So you're not hiring us, you're working with us on a contractual basis, right? So we have had questions like, but I already have a HR department. What is the requirement of, having a team of IO psychologists coming for us, or looking at our culture, doing organizational work for organizational development, or having any L&D done by IO psychologists. We've had countless rejections, but still we've been able to convince some who have been we have been very grateful enough for them to understand where the space that we are coming from and what we are bringing to the table. So I've had the experience. Initially I thought maybe ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा L&D का काम करेंगे, learning and development. It will be just workshops and webinars. That's it. That is the only scope. But luckily, for some reason, I've had experiences of also working with ergonomics. Like I think some of you must be aware of ergonomics, human factor investigation. So we have had the opportunity to also work for ergonomics, to work for physical ergonomics, cognitive ergonomics. We have had the opportunity to work for leadership development. We've had the opportunity of even building cultures within different workspaces. So I've had these diversified opportunities. But yes, as I said, countless rejections also came with that. So it's a very bittersweet journey. And another thing, the current profile that I'm dealing with is, I'm also working with a non-profit organization called Sanjog, and I am heading their organizational development project, which is basically to look into the organizational health, the system within. So predominantly right now I'm dealing with organizational research. Even today before coming, I had to hand in my research to them. And we have a few more researchers in the pipeline. I've made it a point that I also take interns under me. So there are certain interns under me who are also actively a part of that research project and learning how to conduct organizational research, which is very different from an academic research that we have done during our dissertations. Most of you must have done one of your dissertations. I'm telling you, it's a very different ballgame altogether. How organizational deals or approaches a research is a very different thing again. So that again takes another level of comprehension. So these are certain things that I've dealt with. But yes, what I would like to address is, the lack of awareness within corporates. There has always been question, as I said, कि HR है तो फिर why do we need IO psychologists? So इसका answer है 3 point का. First point is, because IO psychologists, they have an expertise over human behavior, organizational behavior, workplace behavior. That's what we bring to the table. Second thing, we are well versed with research methodology. How many of you have had research methodology during your semesters? Right? And the third thing is how well we can facilitate psychometric testing. The tools that are used for not just talent acquisition or recruitment. It's also used for performance appraisal. It's also used for any kind of study, organizational study that is being done. It is used for culture building. It is even used for flow analysis at this point, right? So these are the 3 things that we bring to the table, and please make a note of that. Like whenever you are posed with that question, ki, what are you bringing to the table? HR hai, you be a part of HR. So these are certain things that you need to make others aware of. Secondly, if you talk about the state of IO psychology in West Bengal, currently I know there are only 2 organizations that would give you that profile. One is the organization that I'm working from, Sanjog India, which is a non-profit organization, and that too because they have a OD program, they have a OD project working on right now. And second is the PDP group. You can take a note of that. They are also providing organizational psychology, psychologists as a position, as well as they are providing internships. But if at a national level I were to talk of, if you were to ask me कि India में क्या हो रहा है, like what is the job market situation in India, I would say we have made considerable amount of progress there. I'll tell you why. Because now there are independent companies like Mercer Metal, Aon, AIOU, even the organization that I work for, who recruits organizational psychologists. Yes, you might have to move from Calcutta, that is a different thing. But yes, there are profiles available like that. And apart from that, big companies like Deloitte, Accenture, Capgemini, Concentrix, Genpact, they have now a diversified, they're actually recruiting for diversified profiles such as, employee wellness manager, organizational development manager, organizational change officer, EAP program head. So all of these profiles are now there and they're actively recruiting. I remember Capgemini went on a complete recruitment phase for a month or 2 and they were just looking at OD, anyone who could help them with organizational development. So there are opportunities like that, and being an IO psychologist, I know we fit the bill. And we bring, as I said, we bring certain more things to the table as well. So these are certain things that you can definitely, apply for. Recently, Godrej, they actually introduced a new vertical completely for diversity, equity and inclusion. So there are changes that are happening, maybe not at the pace that we want them to happen, but they are happening. So these are certain opportunities that are actually currently available in the job market. Apart from that, what can you do at an individual level? See, I'm not saying कि पहला job एकदम organizational psychologist का होगा या उस profile का होगा. But the one thing that you can do is, at whatever capacity that you are recruited within an organization, start a conversation, make people aware, bring this topic up within, even if it's at a capacity of just two colleagues, conversing. Because you know what you have done, you know what kind of educational, journey you have taken, you know the kind of, things that an IO psychologist brings to a table. Have that conversation so that कभी अगर कोई HR का बंदा सुन भी ले तो फिर बाद में if they are like, let's say, posed with a situation, or let's say they are posed with a challenge, they can say, oh yeah, this person was talking about bringing in an IO psychologist. We can look into that. So have that conversation. And obviously another thing that I'm looking forward to through this discussion is talking about or discussing about a regulatory body. We have RCI for clinical psychologists.
Yeah.
So why not having a regulatory body for us? Are we the neglected ones? Are we the forgotten ones? Hope not.
Nilanjana, thank you so much. That was excellent. So, couple of things I would want to note. We were supposed to have the break now, but I'm postponing it till 2 because Sir has to leave. He has a lot of responsibilities, the Dean and everything. So, but I would like to take this opportunity of what Nilanjana said and the dignitaries said and ask an important question which I feel we all need to answer. First and foremost, just Nilanjana, what you were saying, that's why we are going to talk about the body at the end of the session today. And all the things you said are the things we need to know and we need to address all of those things. But sir, what I am really interested for you to answer, sir, that you gotten a basic idea, sir, of what industrial psychology is from our experts. How do you define, I mean, in very simple layman terms, how would you define someone who, I mean, is going to support an organization, be it an MBA, BBA, an HR, and let's say an industrial psychologist? How would you differentiate them, sir, from your experience?
Thanks for asking this question. I'll start with my own experience. This is a silver jubilee of my career. And I have started my life in software, Infosys, and then IDC, then ABP, big names, then I shifted to academics. I'll tell my experience, obviously it may not match. I have not seen any person or any intervention of psychology anywhere. I have seen bullying like anything. Some viral thing happened, some video came viral, and as if people were reacting as if this is the first time they have heard of it. But they don't realize the person that they were doing the meme and troll, maybe he was the victim. Yeah. He's not the perp, he is a victim. And it is usually said, again, another burning issue is Jadavpur ragging. But I have seen again in my Jadavpur engineering years, usually the people who used to be ragged, they used to be the violent raggers. So it keeps on going. And I kept on asking this question to my senior management because I have a very bad habit that I ask too many questions. I'm very inquisitive. When I ask my students to ask me questions, that why you're not bothered about how I live my life or how your employees live my life. And it was not only when I was in sales. Okay. Even when it was academics, so we talk about work-life balance or work-life harmony. That is getting disturbed. And somehow, still in our society, psychology, forget about IO psychology or other psychology. Psychology means a taboo. Like sometimes I tell my students or their parents that please consult a psychologist. No, pagule doctor. I mean, if I have to use this, no, it's okay, no issue. So, because what happens, I have to counsel my students because the problem is that when they are students, they are on this side of the table. When they join a company, it changes. And many students, especially since I'm a faculty of marketing, many students, they could not cope up with that sort of stress. I think there should be a serious discussion at recruitment level, as Madam was mentioning, the OD, the OC. The culture is very, very important because there is a saying that people join a company, they leave their boss. At least I left one company, which was my dream company, I won't take the name. I left because of my boss. And I kept on complaining to the HR that I've been facing this problem. Even it has gone to my wife, that even he's disturbing my wife and you take the action. 22 years back, there was no media thing, but still, and I had to leave because there was no other option. So I don't know whether the situation has changed, but I still don't see that sort of discussion at that level. The HR people, they are more into recruitment, they are talking about a lot of things, but Are you people consulted? I'm not very sure.
So I think, sir, that's our question, sir. Let's say a student who's finished their MBAs, they've gone, to get a job,
Right.
and then someone from an industrial psychologist. I mean, how do you think the approaches are different? Like, because why I'm asking you that? Because like Shawnee, they asked Shawnee, and I'm sure you have been asked to, oh, you should have just gotten an MBA. Why did you bother with an industrial psychology? So what do they bring different, than an industrial? I think we need to understand that, sir.
The thing is, marketing, we have marketing, HR and finance. All silos. My marketing students, they are only thinking about bottom line, sales. They're not thinking about ethics. They have been told not to think about ethics because at the end of the day or at the end of the month, boss will look at the number. If you don't reach the number, I don't want to know what you have done or what you have not done, number. Okay. Obviously, maybe I'm too much generalizing. Maybe there are other organizations who have a different thing, but by and large, I'm saying. What is happening to finance people? Again, there are some silos. They are not thinking as a whole. It's not about the human value. And another very important thing, even if you look at the curriculum, yes, SNU we have the generic elective, at least they have an exposure to psychology, to sociology. But other than that, other institutes where I have taught, there's not a single paper on psychology. Nothing. Only in HR OB there was one small chapter, and usually it is taught by the HR faculty who probably doesn't have any background of psychology. And again, the psychology, same thing. Well, psychology, it is that thing. Will not bring that issue, it's a taboo issue. So when my students join industry, they're absolutely unprepared. So that's my concern.
So are we getting to the students? Are the students engaging? Are we getting there? Yes? Yes, sir. All right. So from what I understand, sir, yes, psychologists will look at the human part. If we are from sales, they're just looking at the bottom line. They're not bothered about anything else. If someone who's the HR, then how is the HR different, sir?
HR, many of my students, they start as a recruiter.
All right.
There also target comes, they have another target. Not only the recruitment, the attrition, if the people leave, it comes back to them. Why you have recruited people who have left? You have wasted the resources of the company.
So I think, Indrajit and I were speaking today morning, we use the term human resource. I think this is fundamentally wrong. Because even human beings, we are considering just like how many cars
Exactly.
the organization has.
I have a problem with the resource term.
How many cars do we have? How many buildings do we have as an organization? I think that's what needs to change. We can go.
Adding to this,
yes, please.
This is something that we were having a discussion yesterday within my organization. How, the word human resource, how shallow it sounds sometimes, right? Very surface level. So we came up with, why not say people solutions department?
Exactly, yeah.
Because we are dealing with the humans here, we are dealing with the most elementary, how shall I say, component of an organization.
Absolutely.
Then why are we, kind of, diminishing them to that level by saying human resources?
So if Indrajit and Shuja has something to add.
First of all, thank you for giving such a great opportunity to interact with all of you, with all the dignitaries and my friend, my brother, Rajshikaraj. So, first of all, I really appreciate that this particular point, like human resource, the change has already started. The name has already changed actually. If you know the products available to support human management system, right? So that is called human capital management.
That also is problematic.
Now, what exactly? That is where I was just about to come. Like, it is not only capital, right? Yeah. You have to first understand what is exactly the human being. It's a being, right? It's not about just a resource, just a product to sell or to outsource.
Grind, yeah.
So there is a catch. Now the industry has started understanding, because as I am being part of human capital management, though, in Cognizant, my area, my forte is HCM and part of Oracle, right? So I'm a techno-functional guy there. So being senior manager, managing the projects for lots of domains. So, but at the same time, okay, thank you. So there, we have started educating our associates. It's not only associate level, it's all across the board, like from the top leadership, senior leadership to our trainees. Across all the domain, I mean all of us are getting trained, like what is empathy, the word empathy, right? So that is where we have to invest more and more. And if we don't start investing on that part, the word called empathy, we can't deal of any sort of business or daily business. I mean, we are the utter loser at the day end. So, in IT industry, I'm part of Cognizant. Before I was part of TCS, and sir rightly mentioned that from hiring to firing, lots of business functions there, right, in human capital things. Benefits, your workforce, like deployment, where you are going to work, in which project you are going to work, as per your skill set. All those things are all good. It's payroll, it's all good. We are having lots of, like ma'am said, talent management, right? So there we have, we have that collecting the feedback, how the performance feedback session. We do have the workshop of like, what exactly the self-evaluation you have done for yourself, where you actually want to see yourself, right? Whether you are aligned to that particular planning or not, organizational planning or not, whether you are actually enabled for the next level or not. All those things are fine. But at the granular level, when we are working for a customer, when we are working for a particular project, then nobody really there to support whether that person, that human being at the end, is at all helping himself or helping herself or not. When I'm saying helping, whether he's really aware or concerned about his own health, mental health rather. Physical health is all average, but if we don't have a good mental health at the end, so physical health won't work. So day-to-day life in IT, I would say in IT rather, because when I was part of that particular program in our Cognizant, as I have currently, now I'm a 4th degree black belt, right? So being subomnim, I have met lots of faculties in different college, universities. In fact, last time I met the dean in St. Xavier's College, in St. Xavier's University. So there also, they are planning lots of grooming session before they are participating any kind of interaction with any organization, like during the interview round or during any kind of vocational training, right? Wherever they go, they meet the outer world, they should have that kind of mindset that what exactly they are capable of. At the same time, what they have, we always talk about the limitation. There's no limit actually. We actually borrow those terminology from our curriculum, from our academy. But if we can tune a bit from the very beginning, that is what we are talking about, right? They have started understanding like what should be the actual curriculum, effective curriculum, or for the application perspective. When they are hired in a particular organization, how they are prepared to understand the expectation from the customer, and not only from the customer, also for his own benefit, what exactly he or she is going to achieve at the end of the day, right? At the end of, I mean, whatever we are doing, what exactly we are going to do, what exactly we are going to achieve there. So that is very much important to infuse in that particular understanding, like before we, take up that particular chair to take that interview round. So that is very much important. So we have to start from very beginning, the curriculum, when we are designing any curriculum, the syllabus, and to that particular application level when a person is hired to a particular company. Okay, how is that pattern of mindset, like how it is clear?
Yeah.
Right? So that is very much important.
Absolutely. So on that note, Indranil, I would let you simmer a bit because we're going to come back to you after the break. Yeah. All right. All right. Please go on.
Thanks a lot. I understand যে তোমাদের সকলের একটা ব্রেকের দরকার. Even I also need a break. But আমার কোথাও একটা মানে I'm feeling good. All the people across সবাই HR. I'm a non-HR guy. I'm simple sales and marketing. একটা জিনিস খুব ভালো যে both the ways মানে যেরকম তোমরাও ভাবছো the first good step is taken. যে তোমরাও যেটা ভাবছো যে কি হচ্ছে and where you need to accommodate. Even organizations are also thinking যে কি করবে, ঠিক আছে? I'll come back যে organizationsরা কি ভাবছে সেটা নিয়ে I'll come back and tell because it will be an excellent bridge, ঠিক আছে? I'll create that bridge and help you understand যে organizationsরা কি ভাবছো আর তোমরাও কোন দিকে ভাবছো. There is a symmetry and a pattern which I can see.
That's amazing. Right. Yeah. So before one break, we'll do one final thing. Before the break, it'll take 5 minutes because sir has to go. I know. Before that, I would like to introduce, please, the students who created the document for BIPA. Is there anyone there? Yeah, Audrita is there? Yeah.
Okay. Debraj sir touched upon a topic on anti-ragging. So the students of the Department of Applied Psychology has created a poster on that. I would like to show it in front of the screen. Thank you.
What's happening?
No.
Sir. Excuse me, sir. You need to download the Wi-Fi and disconnect it. Wi-Fi to disconnect.
Kushani? Please switch on the lights. As usual, due to technical problems, we're going to continue this after the break. Right now, I would like to, introduce BIPA to everyone before Sarah has to leave. The people who constructed the document, if they are here, please. Yeah, I would love you to present the documents to the dignitaries. So my students worked really hard last one day essentially creating these documents. And what this is this, we have created a proposal for BIPA, which is essentially Bengal Industrial Psychological Association. And if you hand over the documents to everyone, please. That's okay. নিয়ে যাও, থাকলে আমাকে এটা দিও। And I'll just tell everyone the premise of this. Essentially, because of the lack of, proliferation of industrial psychology at this point, this is the endeavor. And the main goals are to spread awareness of IO in West Bengal, create a collaborative network of IO practitioners in West Bengal, operationally define the role and terms of IO. When I'm saying IO, I mean, all the different parts in West Bengal, connect with other industrial psychological associates at a global stage, create an avenue for innovative research and practices. Initially, what we would like to do is have monthly virtual meetings at the very beginning. Then first inauguration, hopefully maybe we can do it in December if we want to go along with that. Yearly conferences, quarterly free demonstration I think is very important, where I would encourage faculties and students to go to different industries. And actually, like Nilanjana was saying, why do you need us? Basically to spread that. Education and training, and finally research. So again, this is just a basic idea I've had. I would love to talk, and I would love to include all the other dignitaries here. And if we're okay with this proposal, I would love to move ahead with that. So yeah, that's where I'll leave. Yes, sir.
Right now we have around 900 students, SNU, who are pursuing management, BB, MBA combined. So here I want to propose that if you want to do some real research, like collaborative research, you can use our students, means their database, their understanding, so that they'll get your help, your assistance, and you also get some real life data. And if you can involve us as well, those who are interested, like I have a keen interest in psychology. I wanted to be a psychologist, sociologist, but 1993, so my father was JU engineer, so I went into that. But I love psychology, I love sociology, and what Professor Gorango was mentioning, when I look for those series which deal upon the psychological issues.
Yes, sir.
So I think if you go for that, and even I'm planning
Fantastic.
to have a joint collaborative conference, management.
Exactly,
and
that's what we want, right? Collaboration, right?
Right. So I think I'll be there with all of you.
Oh, thank you
Any
so
help,
much.
any assistance
Even Indrajit, Shuja, so if we can collaborate with you, if if all of our students can learn from you, and also, as you know, in IO, a big problem is getting, what do you call it, when you go and do stuff? Internship, yeah. So, so if there is internship opportunity, I think that'll be really amazing. And after the break, I would really love to talk.
I have entrepreneurship network as well. I know
Oh,
entrepreneurs,
fantastic, excellent.
startups. So I think startups, I think you people should look into that. Because see, they don't have the resources, monetary
Yes, sir.
resources to hire a full-time psychologist or full-time IO psychologist. But just think about it. If you can create a cluster of, say, three, four startup owners, so
Fantastic.
that I think it would be a win-win proposition.
So I want to take everyone's permission. Do you have your permission to include in the journey of BIPA? Are you okay with that, sir, ma'am?
I'll be there.
All right, thank you. So that is the first, introduction to BIPA. So on that note, we're going to have a half an hour break. What's the time? Oh, exactly 2 o'clock. Brilliant. So we're going to reconvene at 2:30, and then we're going to have a more interactive session. All right? Thank you so much. All right, guys. See you in half an hour.
small arrangements have been